Hey, how's it going, guys? Mr. Boss for the win here, and in today's Grand Theft Auto 5 video, I'm going to be telling you guys why you should not buy the brand new Ocelot Ardent, the newest vehicle to be released in Grand Theft Auto Online. I'm going to be talking about its cool features and quirks, but also mainly things that I wish Rockstar had done better with this vehicle, and things they could have improved on to make it a vehicle that would have been a little bit more worthwhile. Now, in case you still watch this video and say, Mr. Boss the win, you're a dummy, I don't care what you have to say, I am still doing a shark card giveaway for $1.25 million for the Ocelot Ardent. So that is going on my Twitter account. I will leave a link to it in the description. All you have to do is go follow me on Twitter, retweet the tweet, and boom, you're entered. I'll be selecting the winner on Friday, which is a couple days from now. So when you're likely watching this video, you've still probably got a couple days to enter, and one of you guys is going to be walking away $1.25 million richer. And you can use that money to buy the Ardent or do whatever you want. I don't care, but because the new Ardent is released, we are going to be doing that shark card giveaway. So links to that in the description. So let's get this thing started. And with every new vehicle, we always have our barrier to entry. That barrier to entry is price. Now, the Ocelot Ardent's price is not all that bad. On the Warstock Cash and Carry site, which is the website in which it's available on, it's $1,150,000. Now, that price will only get the vehicle to your doorstep. Nothing more, nothing less. Now, if you want to apply the performance mods to these vehicles, we actually calculated your new total. So if you buy the vehicle and put all the max performance upgrades on there, which is bulletproof tires, turbo, transmission, stuff like that, your new price will be $1,393,500. So getting a little bit more pricey. And then this vehicle also has a pretty great amount of customization. Bumper options, spoilers, stuff like that, things you can do to the hood. So you could easily make this car $1.5 to $1.6 million with all the sort of customization you do. So this $1.1 million vehicle just became a little bit more expensive when it's all said and done. So that right there is the price, a little bit of the customization. I won't be going into the specific details of the customization as I did that on my live stream earlier in the day. I'll leave a link to that in the description too. Now let's talk about the armor capability of the Ardent. Is it worthwhile and is it useful? So even though this vehicle is available on Warstock Cash and Carry site, it's not armored. So the glass on the vehicle itself is not bullet resistant. It is not bulletproof. It does have a sunroof too, which you can actually shoot through. We'll talk about that a little bit later. But regardless, there is no bullet protection that comes from purchasing this vehicle. If you get shot in it, you're going to die. Same with explosives, whether it's a sticky bomb, an RPG, or a grenade, you're going to blow up with one of them. It doesn't protect against anything. So that really leaves us with one potential good thing with this vehicle, and that is the two machine guns on the front. Are they any good? And unfortunately, the answer to that is still no. Very similarly to the Night Shark, the machine guns that are put on the front of this are basically just giant pea shooters. So good luck killing anything with this weapon system on the front of this car. If anything, it should be used as a last resort against players only, because there's no chance you're going to be able to kill vehicles with this. It's just not going to happen. So you can see us really struggling here trying to kill this vehicle, and even unarmed, unupgraded NPC cars off the street have a pretty difficult time actually doing any damage with this vehicle, the Ocelot Ardent. So the guns are pretty worthless to say the least. They also don't go away like with the Night Shark. So for example, when you don't have the guns equipped, they kind of like go up into the vehicle. Not the case here. They're always exposed, and some people may not like that. And also with this vehicle, you can also use your other weapons too. So if you had the Night Shark and some of the other armor on there, you wouldn't be able to use some weapons. However, with the Ocelot Ardent, you can use every weapon in your available suite, as well as the machine guns on the front. So I guess that is kind of a nice bonus for this car. But at the end of the day, the guns are so bad, they honestly aren't even worth it. All right, let's move on and talk about some cool features that I actually do like about this car. Number one is the lights. I think the pop-up headlights are awesome. However, the extra set of lights that can be found on the bumper do not work. Why Rockstar once again decides that extra light shouldn't work is beyond me. It could have made this car really cool, had some nice high beam features, but no, that's not the way they want to do things, so only the pop-up headlights on this vehicle will work. I mentioned a little bit earlier that the Ardent has a sunroof. I think that's pretty cool because there's not a lot of cars in the game that has a sunroof. And if you park it kind of at sunset or you're looking up at the buildings, you can get some pretty cool views. Now, one thing you do need to be aware about is if you change the tint of your windows, the sunroof tint will change as well. So just keep that in mind if you don't want to block your view looking out of the top. The interior is pretty cool as well. I believe it's a custom interior for the Ocelot Ardent that isn't used in any other vehicle. We don't have a lot of Ocelot cars in the game, so having a nice, unique interior is pretty cool. One thing I don't love about the exterior of the car is the front license plate. It seems to be abnormally long, and I don't know if this is a feature of older British cars like this, or if this is something Rockstar just did for this vehicle. But to me, it looks kind of awkward and stretched out. So maybe you guys have noticed the same thing. If you have, let me know in the comment section down below. But that's one thing I didn't really love about this vehicle. Also, if you open up all the doors, you'll notice you can open up, obviously, the passenger and driver door, the trunk, and the hood. And in the trunk, you'll actually find a spare tire. Now, one thing I tested on my live stream is if that spare tire would actually change to other tires. So, for example, if you made a modified tire, would it also change underneath the trunk? And the answer to that is sadly no. The tire in the trunk is not dynamic. It is always going to remain the stock version. So if you want to keep the symmetry going, you might want to keep the stock wheels on this car, as if you change it, you're not going to be able to change the one underneath the hood. Speaking of that, can you change the stock rims of the car to a different color? The answer to that is also no. That would have been really cool, as I feel like the stock wheels on this car look amazing, but unfortunately you can't change their colors, so there's no way to make it white or black or any color that you might have specifically wanted to go for here. So unfortunately, there's no way to modify the stock wheels using the iFruit app. And the last thing you need to know about this vehicle, because I don't think Rockstar make it that known, is that you can actually apply liveries to it in the Mobile Operations Center. So all the upgrades are done in the Los Santos custom shop, but if you want to put liveries on this vehicle, you have to do it in the Mobile Operations Center. And there's 21 available, just like on all the other weaponized vehicles like the APC, the weaponized Tampa, the Night Shark, and so much more. So I thought that was pretty cool, as some people may have ended up forgetting that they could actually do that on this sort of vehicle. All right, so now let's move on to the big question. And the thing that everyone wants to know about this vehicle: is it submersible? Can it actually swim? Does it function like the James Bond Lotus from the movie in the 70s, The Spy Who Loved Me? And the answer to that is no. Now, this is something I think Rockstar could have done to make this vehicle amazing if it had the ability to swim underwater like a submarine. But the answer to that is no. And it should have been pretty obvious. I tested this on my live stream earlier, but no, if you bring the Ardent into water, it's going to die just like any other vehicle, and it's going to sink to the bottom. So even though it is based off of the James Bond Lotus from that movie, which could transform into a submarine and could transform into a submersible vehicle, the one in online cannot. So if you see your friends saying, you can drive this vehicle in water, just know that you can't actually do that. And if you do, it will be destroyed, and you're going to have to pay the insurance for it. Now, speaking of that, that's a great segue into finding out what the insurance is. The insurance for this car is actually kind of pricey. I was a little bit surprised. So if you destroy your own Ardent or you destroy another person's, you're going to actually have to pay $14,375 for the insurance fee, which is a little bit more pricier than I thought, considering the vehicle is really only $1 million to buy. So again, be careful if you see an Ardent on the road, or just be careful with it if you decide to drive it in water. It is going to set you back a little bit of cash if you want to get it back. Now, moving on, let's talk about the performance of this vehicle. So what's actually pretty interesting is, according to racing YouTuber Bruffy, it's actually the third best sports classic vehicle in its category, which is actually awesome. I love when vehicles are added to specific categories and they become competitive with the other top vehicles. However, what we need to talk about here is the Ocelot Ardent can't actually race. You can't use it in races. How dumb is that? Because it has these two pea shooter guns on the front, we can't use this beautiful classic James Bond Lotus inside races. That stinks, especially because of how awesome this vehicle is. Same with the Night Shark. The Night Shark was a really quick vehicle, but because you can't use it in races, it almost seems worthless. So the same thing kind of applies here to the Ardent. It's amazingly quick, handles really well. It's the third best sports classic vehicle, but we can't use it in races. What the heck, Rockstar? That seems like kind of a bummer. Could you not have just disabled the machine guns on the front for the races? That would have seemed like an easy thing to do, but regardless, don't buy this vehicle if you expect to use it in races, because you can't. You're going to have to create your own, like something we do, like our lighthouse runs and Chiliad climbs. It's really the only way you're going to be able to enjoy this vehicle. So it's basically locked to free mode only. So that right there is the Ocelot Ardent. Let's talk about if this vehicle is worth it. And the answer for me personally is no, it is not worth it. So when it's all said and done, you're going to be spending around $1.6 million, maybe even more on this vehicle. And something else to note is I actually had to buy this thing twice. So I was on my live stream and this thing literally disappeared from my garage, my inventory. It wasn't in my bunker, it wasn't in Moore's Mutual, it wasn't in my MOC. So I actually had to buy this vehicle and upgrade it twice. And a bunch of other people have been reporting on that as well, that their Ardents have been disappearing. Now, if that does happen to you, obviously contact Rockstar Support. Make sure you get your money back. But anyways, getting back to the price, it's expensive and it doesn't do a whole lot. It's not armor resistant. It's not bulletproof. The guns on the front suck. You can't use it in races. It isn't submersible. It can't swim. Just about the only thing this vehicle is good for is being a unique free mode sports classic vehicle. So it is pretty quick. And it does have the guns that you can kind of use as a last resort. But at the end of the day, is that really worth $1.6 million? The only way I would say you purchase this vehicle is if you enjoy it for what it is, a classic James Bond Lotus vehicle that you just really enjoy. But if you want to use it for its armor capabilities or its weaponized abilities or in races, well, you're going to be very disappointed because it can't do any of those things all that well. So I'd love to hear from you guys in the comment section down below. What do you think of the Ocelot Ardent? Do you think it's worth it? Do you think it's not worth it? I'd love to hear from you guys down there. Have you bought it? Do you regret it? Are you going to sell yours because you don't like it? Like I said, let me know your thoughts, opinions, and more in the comment section down below. Once again, quick reminder, I'm doing a shark card giveaway. Links to that is in the description too. If you did go and enjoy this video, though, a like rating would, of course, be awesome. And also, subscribe to my YouTube channel if you are new or you like daily GTA 5 videos like this. Without the wait, guys, like I said, thanks so much for watching. Take care, and I'll see you guys in the next video.